Hey, y'all, this is Eric from Alabama.
And this is Gerry from Boston. We want to welcome our listeners from the United States and around the world. It's another Sunday podcast. And a cheerful hello to you, my friends.
And hello to you.
Here we are again for another exciting episode of It's Another Sunday Podcast. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am doing better than I deserve. Thank you. We are... Is it me or is time just flying? I mean, here we are now in the middle of spring. I don't know if it's the middle of spring, but we're into spring, and it seems like just the other day it was like 20 below zero, snow on the ground here.
I was thinking about that the other day. That it seemed like just the other day when all this COVID stuff hit, and now we're not well over, but we're over a year from it.
Yeah, it's hard.
I think that's right, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, we are. Well, the world kind of shut down, I think, right around March, middle of March, I think, when we knew it was coming, but when Tom Hanks, was it Tom Hanks, came out and said his wife and he had contracted it in March, and it like that night, the NBA stopped, mid-game, said, actually, I don't think it was mid-game, but right before the game tip-off, they said, that's it, we're done. And then everything just started, like, buttoning up. Yep. And, yeah, that was a year ago, March of 2020, and here we are in April of 2021. Wow. It's been a hell of a ride. And things, there's that light at the end of the tunnel, and we're back now. We're starting to see some numbers going up again. Not good numbers going up, but hopefully we're not in for another surge, because we just can't take another massive shutdown like we did. So hopefully vaccinations are up, and as we get into the summer months, things will get much better. We can get ahead of this sucker, because this has been the strangest year of my life. But things are looking up. We just found out we're still working from home until the end of August, so they've extended us.
Oh, wow.
But I'm back out and doing a few more things now. I think I mentioned recently doing the Lyft and the Uber again, and getting a chance to actually see and talk to people face to face instead of through a computer. So that kind of helped. And of course, the weather's better, the sun's out and longer. Pretty soon it'll be 9 o'clock at night and the sun will still be shining. So all the good stuff is just around the corner. As we record this, again, it seems like we've talked about this on a couple of occasions, but we have to bring this up again. We're getting some emails and some text messages from our listeners this past week. So we're recording this at the end of March, and just this past week, another set of tornado outbreaks in Alabama, and very, very close to you this time. People concerned for your well-being. We're glad that everybody is good with you and your family. This was pretty devastating from what I saw in the news, and I believe we lost some folks in this outbreak. What was it? You and I were on the phone, I think, as this sucker one of them was heading towards you, right?
Yes, well, I got lucky. We watched it. We were watching the news, and but it started to come right for us. It's coming pretty much straight for my place up here, and and it broke up right as it got into town. So I mean, I was ready. I was about to go into my shelter and get ready for it. But it broke up by the time I got over to the shelter. So, which is fortunate. Now, the town before us that it went through, it didn't go right through the downtown, but it went through kind of a not a subdivision, but like a little community outside, right outside of town, which is where a lot of my friends and some of my family live out there. A lot of people I know live out there, and most people, uh, well, there was some places got wrecked pretty hard. Not totally destroyed, but trees on a house. Um, one of my friend's dad's house had a tree on it. A lot of trees down. There was a trailer park in between our two towns that got hit really hard. Luckily, most of the people there were at a shelter or were at a friend's house and were not there or whatever. So, um, but when you look at the and it when you look at the tornado, they were talking about this on the news, and but and it is terribly unfortunate that we lost 5 people um last week in the tornado, and my thoughts and prayers go out to the families and loved ones of those people. But when you look at what happened versus what could have happened, uh, we 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 were blessed that that worse did not happen, especially in our community. The two towns um, where I kind of live, and that we were blessed to not have any, you know, um, it just could have been worse. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Could have been worse. So,
Well,
but
and thankfully we have y'all have the early warning systems, right? And so that you kind of know it's coming. You've got James Spann out there, and I watched the coverage of ABC 3340 and online, and incredible the way they handle this, and how calm and precise, and I mean literally, in 3 minutes it's going to be here, and so be prepared. So that certainly has, I think, a big part to do with the preventing the loss of life that could be if it comes in the middle of the night or something like that and you don't know it's coming or whatever. But yeah, so yeah, thoughts and prayers definitely out to the families who lost their lives and to folks who were affected in with the damage and everything. So hopefully everybody you'll pick up the pieces and be able to rebuild and get things back on track out there. And hopefully this is it for this year, because this is early for this many tornadoes, is it not?
I can't remember year to year, um, but if memory serves me correctly, I think so. It's kind of a little early. So, and I gotta say, our community is awesome. They have, I mean, like the day after, um, they were getting supplies ready. They've got more supplies than they can shake a stick at. I mean, everybody has been coming out to help and work on, help cutting up trees and hauling debris away and getting everything cleaned up and picked up or whatever. So, and getting, donating supplies and bottled waters and all kind of stuff. I mean, our we got a really awesome community. So that is very neighborly and helps out. So
It's incredible how people come together in events like this. We forget about all the crap that's going on in the world and focus on each other. We think we try to rely on other people, or other governments or whatever to do things. But when it really comes down to it, that's what it's all about. People just come out of, like you said, out of the woodworks and from other states and just do whatever they can to help people wherever in the country it is, whether you're in the state or if you're out of the state or you're out of the country. It's just incredible how we all come together as one and try to help each other. Again, watching ABC 3340 and watching the news and seeing how people are coming together, and it's just incredible to see that that in a community as similar to the community that you're in, where a lot of the devastation was. And having been there myself in that area, I can attest the folks are incredibly friendly, and didn't matter that I was from the north. It's like they welcomed me like I was one of their own family, and here, eat or whatever. It's like they would just and asking all sorts of questions about what it's like to live in Boston and what do I think of Alabama. So it was wonderful. The couple days that I spent there, and you remember the Oktoberfest, we actually sat and talked to some folks. I believe it was a truck driver and his wife sat with us at the table, and we had this awesome conversation. And I don't believe they were from Alabama. I don't recall exactly where, but I remember having this great conversation with them about everything, from the world to the Oktoberfest and the festivities that were going on, and it was just incredible.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to get back down to see you and to see your family and catch the band and hang out with all the great people of Alabama. Someday soon. So I'm glad that you and your family are okay, and thanks to the listeners again for chiming in. They really, we got some great listeners, who really are concerned with things that are going on and making sure that you're okay. And it's great to see. So
I'm alive and well. Thank
we
you.
We love our listeners, and thank you all for listening. Okay. What else is happening in the world of Erich?
Not much. Just going day by day. That's all you can do sometimes. You just go from day to day.
I guess that's all we can do. I have got to tell you this story of something that just happened to me recently. So everybody I think is familiar with Dunkin' Donuts, right? And so I love my iced coffee. I have to go get my iced coffee every morning, pretty much. And this particular Dunkin' Donuts was I was actually going to work in the office. So it's about maybe 8-10 miles from where I live, and I'm going through this city to get to the city that my office is in, and usually I'll grab my iced coffee there rather than here, and so it's still pretty cold and ice when I get to work. So I pulled into to this particular drive-through, and after waiting maybe a minute or two, it's a little bit longer than normally. You pull up, and it's like, "Hi, welcome. Can I help you?" The voice on the other end of the speaker said, "Yeah." So I wasn't sure if he was talking to me or if he had the microphone on. He was talking to somebody he was working with. And I said, "Good morning. Could I get a large iced coffee black, please?" "Anything else?" And I said, "How about a smile this morning?" And the response was, and I won't use the word, but the response was just like this: "F you." So, of course, I completely shocked, just busted out laughing, tears in my eyes laughing, that I could not believe that, and I'm saying, the first thing that goes through your head is, did they just say that to me? Number two, is this somebody that I know? Is it a joke? Is it like Dave Letterman or something in it, right? Playing a joke. I'm looking for the candid camera. And I pull up, and I'm guessing it was the manager. It may have been the owner was standing there, and he couldn't have been more than apologetic. And I'm laughing. And he's got the coffee, and I give him my, go to give him my money. No, the coffee is free. He's fired. and I'm sorry for that. And do you want a muffin or a donut? I said, no, just my coffee. Please take my money. He refused to take my money. And unfortunately, the kid probably lost his job. I have not been back to that one since, because I haven't been in the office since that happened. But I will go there the next time I go in the office for my coffee. But it's just somebody I guess he had a bad day. It was about 6 o'clock in the morning, maybe a little bit after. And but yeah, I just did not expect that. F you. So, all right. So I thought I'd share that with our audience, and might get a little charge out of that.
I have mornings like that just about every morning. No.
But you don't say it. There's a difference.
No.
There's a difference.
No, I'm very good. I try to be good. Let me put it that way. I try to be good.
It's difficult for you. No, I'm just kidding. I don't see a bad side of you at all.
And you're blind.
Yet. No, we just edit that out. What a week. Man, I got to tell you, I had a, how things, just nothing will go right for a day, or in a particular day. It's like everything seems to just go crazy. This was one of those. I had a great week. Work was busy. Weather was great. Everything was just chugging along, and it came to the weekend, and I get in the car on Saturday to go get my iced coffee, and then to begin my lift day, and drive some passengers around and make some money. And I had planned on doing this particular episode was supposed to be a remote from the Encore Casino in Boston, as you know. And so unfortunately, I had to cancel that because I drove away a block from my house, and my car stalled. And it's an older car. It's got about 160,000 miles on it, but it's pretty good shape. I keep it up. I oil change and brakes and everything it needs, and it's been, pretty good. So while I'm rolling, I'm trying to start the thing, and it starts up. I step on the gas, it stalls. So I was able to pull over far enough to the side of the road so I wasn't blocking the street. And it just would not start. I mean, it would start, but it just would stall. I'd step on the gas. I could floor it, and it would be fine. Once I took my foot off the gas, it would stall. So I had to call a tow truck and waited, 20 or 30 minutes for a tow truck. And had I taken a left turn, if I had enough power to take the left turn and go down this hill, I would have rolled right into the repair center where I had the car towed. So I was like, okay, so this is going to be one of these days. I'm looking where I'm standing outside my car, talking to AAA, looking at the repair center. That's how close I was to the repair center. Now, thankfully, I wasn't on the road with a passenger or in a drive-through line or in a car wash line, because this car was not going anywhere. I would have had to have pushed it or gotten somebody to push it if it had done that. So I was very lucky in the sense that I was off to the side of the road. Tow truck comes. He backs up. Now, he's got a flatbed. And you're familiar with these large flatbeds, right?
Yeah.
So he got to block this almost at an intersection. And he got to block the road for a couple minutes to load my car up. Guy pulls up in a car, and he starts yelling at the tow truck driver. And I'm like, here we go. We're going to have a fight. The tow truck driver's yelling at the guy. The guy's like, you're blocking the road. And the tow truck driver, yeah, well, what do you think of course I'm blocking the road. He goes, well, that's not right. You shouldn't be allowed to do that. And the tow truck driver's yelling back at him. I can do whatever I want.
Hilarity ensues.
Oh, yeah. So I'm taking several steps back because I have no idea if this guy's getting out of his car, and this tow truck driver does not look like he's having a good time. And he's yelling at the guy, if it was your car, you'd want me to block the road, So I'm standing back watching this go on, and now this has ruined the tow truck driver's day. Gets me towed and off to the repair center. I ended up walking down there because you can't get in the tow trucks during the pandemic now, so you got to find alternate transportation, and they tell you that when you call AAA, they're like, you're gonna have to call for a ride or something because we can't take you. It's like, no, okay. So that's how it started. So then I had to cancel the trip to the casino and the remote episode because I have no idea what's wrong with my car. I don't know what it's going to cost to get it fixed. I didn't want to bother somebody to have to take me to and from this place. And it's a casino. So it's the money I'm about to spend and probably lose in the casino. I'm probably going to need to fix my car. So I come home. And I said, well, I'm going to get my computer fixed because I'm having issues with the brand new laptop that I have. The camera doesn't work. And the USB port, all of a sudden, it's died. So I call the company, and I get their tech support. And I said, I think I need a motherboard, the camera, blah, blah, blah. Oh, we have to go through a bunch of tests before we schedule this thing. 2 hours and 1 minute.
$50 a test.
2 hours. No, it's under warranty.
Oh, okay.
It's under warranty.
Okay.
And like I said, it's brand new and several months old. And by the way, I've already replaced the motherboard on this once. So I'm on the phone 2 hours and 1 minute with the technical support, and then they said, "We're gonna have to send out a technician." It's like, okay. And so they're trying
you're getting your hot water heater worked on or something. Just your computer.
If this wasn't under warranty, I wouldn't care about the camera. The USB port I really could use because they only make 2 in these things. So I hang up with them and I said, well, I've got this money that I need to put back in the bank because I'm not going to the casino. So I walked to the bank about a half mile, and which is fine because I need the exercise. That's not a problem. I go to the ATM. I try to put the money and deposit the money in the ATM, and it's not taking deposits.
It's like all the gremlins got in every single bit
like
of the
no
electronics.
No matter what I tried to do on Saturday, just didn't work.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm just going to go home. If I can make it home without getting hit by a car, I'm just going to shut the lights out, pull the shade down, and crawl under the covers. So,
Yeah.
and I'm on a diet. It's like, just let's throw all this stuff into the pot and see what what kind of a mood he's gonna be in.
That's the way it goes, man. That's the way it goes.
It was just one of those. And then somebody had pointed out to me that it was a full moon. So there you go.
Oh yes, yeah, it was, wasn't it? I forgot about that. Was it a full moon last night?
It was this past week. I know it was over the weekend. I believe it was a full moon, and that could have been it right there. That could have been it. So,
I'm not like superstitious. Well, I mean, I am, I guess, but not like intentionally. I don't really believe that stuff, but I tease about it. But I have heard so many stories like even like nurses say that they get more calls on a full moon, and uh one of the interesting things, like last year or 2020, uh I don't know if I read the article. I may have. I think I did read the article. And I'm paraphrasing, and I read this article months ago, so I may be getting something wrong about it. But it was talking about 2020, and there was a 2020 is the year that we had the planetary conjunction several months ago. When was it? October or October, September? We had a planetary conjunction. That particular conjunction comes about once only 400 years, I want to say. So the last one was like 1620.
Just for the benefit of the listeners, what is the planetary conjunction?
It's two planets. I can't even remember which ones they are. I want to. It's Saturn and something. Somebody out there, a listener, will know way more than I do. I watched it. I watched it happen. Got out my telescope and went outside. But I read an article on the history about this, about the planetary conjunction, and the last one was, I can't remember, however many years ago. But and this article, here's the crazy thing. Here's the crazy thing about this. The article was not written in 2020. The article was written in like 2013, looking forward to the planetary conjunction in 2020. And you know what it said? You know what the article said that was written in like 2013 or 2012 or something like that?
What's that?
It said that when this happens, like when the planets align, when you look at it historically, there have been years of political upheaval, some kind of natural disaster, crazy stuff going on or whatever. Yeah, it's like chaos that year in history. If you go back and look at the years in history that's happened, it's just interesting.
Almost kind of like Nostradamus-y.
Yeah,
kind of predicting
Nostradamus.
kind of predicting the future. That was January the 9th. It was Mercury and Saturn were the two.
Okay.
We do have a couple more coming up in 2021. Are
you sure it was Mercury and Saturn?
According to inthesky.org, it was Mercury and Saturn on January the 9th. On July the 12th, the conjunction of the Moon and Mars will occur.
This year or last year?
2021, this year.
Okay.
And July 13th, Venus and Mars will occur. And on the 24th of July, the Moon and Saturn. And on the 26th of July, the Moon and Jupiter. So there's quite a few of them.
Okay.
The
one last year was kind of rare.
The Jupiter-Saturn conjunctions, it says,
that was it.
Okay, they happen every 20 years, according to this website, and it was 1623 was the last time that the Jupiter and Saturn was the closest. And
that's right. Yeah,
that's the closest in 1623, but the closest observable, which is where I think people sometimes get confused, was 1226.
Yes,
the
that's
year 1226.
Yes. That's the one that happened last year, yeah.
Yes.
That I got to see, yeah.
And I do remember, unfortunately, I don't have a telescope, so I could see it with the naked eye, but I couldn't take pictures or anything like that. So and where you live, you probably had a much better view than in the city.
Yes. Well, I say that, but we still have lights around us around here in the country, street lights a little bit, and not as many as y'all do.
I didn't mean to imply that you were like you had no lights or anything like that. And
no.
Yeah.
I know what you meant. I'm just saying it's not like we're out here in the dark, but
right.
Even though that would be great, but
you don't. But you don't have the bright lights in like the city of like Boston or New York or something. So
or even Birmingham.
Right. Well, so going back to the full moon, you talk about a nurse. As I have some friends that work in hospitals that swear that the full moon brings in a lot more emergency cases and things like that. And I have a friend who's a police officer who swears that during a full moon, calls seem to increase of all kinds of calls, everything from accidents to domestics and things like that. So I don't know, maybe it does have an effect.
Yeah, I mean it's weird. I don't know. I mean it wouldn't surprise me, but it just makes me wonder. I mean, because the Earth runs in cycles of spring, summer, fall, winter, and different
Depending on
phases.
where you are, I guess.
Right, like in Alabama, it's basically just summer and then winter, and
We
then you
joke.
get summer again.
That's what we joke up here, is that we have 2 seasons, winter and summer. That's it. We don't see spring and fall. Although so far it's been a pretty good spring so far. So hopefully that will continue. Well, time flies when you're having fun doing these things, because we are at the conclusion of another episode. And I have to tell I'm going to blame everything. I'm going to blame all of my absent-mindedness on the diet, because it's just the easiest thing to do. But I think a few episodes ago, I think episode 17, I said this was episode like 20 or 19. I completely missed like 2 or 3 weeks worth of episode numbers. So this should be episode 20. If it falls in the schedule correctly and I don't screw it up, we should be at 20 episodes, which is a milestone for us, that we have done this. When we first started, I don't think we said, maybe 4 or 5, we'll get any listeners and things. And we are gaining new listeners every single week, looking at the statistics and things. And it doesn't tell us who you all are, unless you subscribe on YouTube. If you're listening to us on YouTube, and please hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell. That will prompt you every Sunday at 9 a.m. when the episode drops. And we can kind of know possibly who you are then. But you're still anonymous to us, but we know that you've subscribed. As far as all the other platforms, wherever you might be listening to us on, whether it's Spotify or Stitcher or Apple Music, any of those services, thank you. And but I am seeing an increase in our listeners. This past week, for example, we have a new listener. Again, no idea who it is, but typically the key is when I see somebody listening to episodes in a row. So this week, whoever this new listener is, welcome. They've listened to episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in the last 2 or 3 days. So we see the episode they're listening to. We just don't know who they are. We do know where from parts of the country that they're coming from. And as we say at the beginning, around the world, we have listeners as well. So slowly but surely, we're making our way through this thing. And we have some more interesting shows coming up and some guests as well. So we're looking forward to that. And we got some special shows coming up a little later in the year. So hang in there, folks, and thank you for listening. If you know anybody who would like to be on the show, if you would like to be on the show, if you have something interesting to say, or maybe not so interesting, you just want to be on the show, you are welcome to be on our show. Reach out to Erich or myself, and you can do that by sending an email to itsanothersunday.podcast@gmail.com. We would love to have you as part of the show. Erich, before we get to the final word, do you have any other final words and comments?
Yeah, roll with the changes.
I guess that's my cue. It's Another Sunday Podcast is produced by Erich and Gerry. Music composed by and performed by Tom Blaze. Technical advisor is Tom Bilodeau. Thanks again for tuning in. Until next time, it's Another Sunday Podcast. Thanks for listening.